They've been there for me when nobody else has, and I love every one of them.
Tonight's Big Story Breakdown focusing on the efforts to address homelessness, from experiencing homelessness for 24 years to having her own place. A woman from Enid sharing her success story.
She says the Homeless Alliance changed her life forever. Fox 25's David Chazanoff joins us live after meeting with her this afternoon. So David, how did the nonprofit help her out?
Wendy, Tracy Noggle tells me a case manager here in Oklahoma City helped find her housing, and she's now had a home for 3 years and counting.
This is our house. Now I'm housed. I've been housed now a little over 3 years, and they've done everything in the world.
After experiencing homelessness for 24 years, Tracy Noggle now lives in an apartment with her dog.
Kisses. It's been a journey in its own because at first I wasn't used to it. I wasn't used to being closed into an apartment, and I would be gone a lot. I would stay outside so much, and sometimes I just want to go out there and go to sleep.
She's developed a passion for cleaning and making art.
I painted that myself, and it's more of my art. I love every day I wake up because I can go to my icebox, I can make me something to eat, I can talk to my dog, I can take my dog for a bike ride.
Taylor Self with the Homeless Alliance says it's been rewarding to see Noggle thrive in her new lifestyle.
Really, it's a great reflection of, I think, the success that can be achieved when you really meet people where they're at.
According to Self, what helps her nonprofit's clients make strides is when they're treated like a neighbor or a friend.
Because that's what they are, and meeting people where they're at can really only allow for so much success and growth.
Noggle says she couldn't be happier with how things are going for her.
I couldn't change my life for nothing.
Noggle says for her 59th birthday coming up at the end of the month, she would love it if people could donate to the Homeless Alliance, whether it be clothing or cleaning supplies, rather. Reporting live in Oklahoma City, David Chazanoff, Fox 25 News.
David, thank you. And in just a few months, we should have a better idea of where things stand in Oklahoma City. On January 23rd, 120 volunteers conducted the 2025 point-in-time count. It's used to determine the number of people experiencing homelessness. The group of volunteers surveyed individuals in shelters and encampments, asking why they became homeless or how long they've been without a place to stay. City officials say they don't believe the numbers will be too far off from what we saw last year.
Without significant additions to affordable housing, we don't expect to see any drastic reductions. We are working together to really target and reduce the populations, and we are hoping to see a reduction in some of those specific subpopulations, but we're looking forward to seeing the data and hoping that we can just slow the increase of the numbers this year.
The 2025 point-in-time report is expected to be released in either May or June.
And we can kind of get you a snapshot of the information that upcoming report will include. And to do that, all we got to do is take a look at the 2024 point-in-time results. So let's dig in here. On a single day, volunteers determined 1,838 unhoused individuals were living in emergency shelters or outside in Oklahoma City. That was an additional 402 people from the 2023 count. There are subcategories for all this as well. So the count actually determined that 7% of the population were veterans, 24% considered chronically homeless. That means they had been experiencing homelessness for more than 12 months. We also found that 17% were members with families with children. None of them were sleeping outside, but 62% of people counted were staying in a shelter, 13% in transitional housing, 1% in safe havens, and 24% were unsheltered.
In the state of Oklahoma alone, more than 26,000 children are experiencing homelessness. According to the organization Positive Tomorrows, 21% were considered couch homeless upon school enrollment. That means they slept in motels, cars, on floors, or stayed with friends, but they didn't have a place of their own to call home. 62% stayed in homeless shelters. Positive Tomorrow says reducing the barriers to an education, providing family support for a stable environment, and then delivering that education where the student is can lead to positive academic outcomes and pave the way for success later in life. We are continuing to follow discussions surrounding Norman's city-funded homeless shelter.
For months, we've been hearing concerns about the facility's current location downtown and where it could go next. Fox 25's Tom Ferguson joins us live from Norman City Hall now. Tom, you just reached out to the city for an update today. What did they have to say?
Adam and Wendy, according to a city spokesman, there has been no movement on relocating that shelter at this time. He also said the city council here has yet to approve a new location for the shelter.
Fox 25 has been tracking the ongoing debate in Norman about where would be best to place the city-funded homeless shelter. Downtown business owners have said the current location near James Garner and West Gray has impacted foot traffic and spurred safety concerns. As recently as January of this year, the organization Food and Shelter Inc. managed this facility for the city.
And we believe in emergency shelter. We know it's a huge part of the importance of ending homelessness and helping people who are homeless find permanent locations for home.
However, the Oklahoma City-based organization CityCare took over the shelter's management in January. This followed a dispute between Norman and Food and Shelter over contract terms and a city audit into Food and Shelter's operation of the facility.
Just proud and happy to partner with them.
When we talked with the head of CityCare in November, she told us Norman was exploring a new location to open a few months after her organization took over. As of Thursday, the way forward on that question remains unclear. However, she stressed the need for a shelter remains given harsh conditions outdoors that span the seasons.
It's to get folks inside out of the elements. And in Oklahoma, we know that it can be a matter of life or death in the winter and then also in the summer.
The city was floating the idea of moving the shelter to an unused building at the Griffin Memorial Hospital campus in July of last year. The head of Food and Shelter had called the idea, quote, win-win. On the other hand, the head of the Among Friends Activity Center, located nearby, pushed back against the proposal at the time. He said the move would put disabled adults who frequent the center and the area at risk. In response, April Dozier with Food and Shelter told us the shelter would only be open during the evening and would not interfere with the center's activities.
And the city spokesman told us the current contract Norman has with CityCare runs through June 30th. It remains to be seen what happens after that. Live in Norman, Tom Ferguson, Fox 25 News.
Thank you, Tom. And Tulsa organizations say they're seeing a rise in homelessness in their area. They believe the numbers will continue to climb as housing, food, and other prices keep inflating.
Fox 25's Tanya Motorzitsky walks us through what the Salvation Army is doing there to address those needs.
Our reservations, if you will, have been up dramatically.
Brent McQuarters, the executive director for Center of Hope at the Salvation Army, says between January and February and now March, in comparison to this time last year, the demand for help from individuals or families is up 10%.
The numbers that we have seen have gone up, and they continue to go up.
Between the price of housing going up, inflation at the pump and grocery stores, people losing jobs, and the impacts of what we're seeing nationally, he says is causing the Salvation Army to see the growing need. McQuarter says even as temperatures get warmer, their beds and seats are remaining full, and with natural disasters like the fires in Manford, they know with this just being the start of severe weather season, they have to prepare for the unexpected to help families.
Just wanted to make ourselves available to do that. We were already at capacity when those things were happening this past weekend. We just, again, have had to be on alert for other emergencies that would cause individuals, if not long-term or just in temporary situations, under emergency disaster responses.
Tulsa Mayor Monroe Nichols earlier this year shared his plan to end homelessness by 2030.
It establishes an encampment decommissioning team. It formalizes the creation of a winter weather shelter. It shares our efforts to increase shelter capacity across the city, and it establishes the Mayor's Coalition on Eviction Mitigation.
McQuarter says as long as the Salvation Army continues to have a seat at the table for Mayor Nichols' plans, they want to support it and help as many people as they can.
Whatever transition we need to make here within the building to be able to support.
Tanya Motorzitsky, Fox 25 News.
Homelessness is an issue we are seeing nationwide. According to the National Homelessness Law Center, millions of families are just one missed paycheck or medical issue away from losing their home. The 2024 Homelessness Assessment Report from the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development revealed family homelessness jumped nearly 40% between 2023 and 2024. Experts say a nationwide shortage of affordable housing and the limited reach of housing assistance programs are the biggest reasons for the increase. To help address homelessness, we are joining forces with the Salvation Army for Sinclair Cares From Homeless to Hope. This nationwide initiative is dedicated to raising awareness about homelessness and highlighting the life-changing services that provide hope and stability. If you would like to volunteer or make a donation to help families in need, go to sinclaircares.com or scan that QR code right there on your screen. And that was your big story breakdown tonight.
You can learn more about the efforts to address homelessness in our communities on OKCFox.com.